tuzalishe mali, tukuze kila chama kuwa benki, tuzidishe mapato kwa jamii zetu. Ufalme wetu, ufalme wetu, ufalme wetu. Your catalyst for development.
Welcome back to our third episode, and here we shall be talking about how to save for personal finance. If you are in business, how do you save? And remember that we have said we shall be bringing you the Chama editions. How do they collect their money? How do they manage their money? How do they multiply or even invest their money? So these conversations, these money conversations are brought to you by Ufalme Wetu, which is a money or a wealth knowledge platform, and the Habu Deco, which is a home solutions, a hotel solutions, and an office solutions furnishing company. So karibu sana Mr. Joseph Kanani.
Thank you so much.
So we want to understand. So after nime hustle for a whole 1 week or I have been paid, so how do I begin to save my money?
Saving. It's very common to masikia word saving. But few people actually do it, and few people actually know the benefits of it. Lakini, there was a time I was with a friend, and that friend used to love pizza.
Very
pizza
much.
vizuri. Na that friend used to tell me that every Tuesday lazima tumie 1,000 shillings anunue pizza.
I can imagine the
So nikamfanyia hesabu ati every Tuesday, that is 4 weeks in a month. I mean 4 weeks in 1 month. So that is 4,000.
yeah.
So in 1 year, you only 4,000 times 12, it's about 36,000. Is it 36?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's 48,000.
48 years, yeah, 48
Yeah.
days.
Nah, since that friend had been taking pizzas for the last 5 years, so if you do 48 times 5,
Well, that is a lot of money.
it's a lot of money, like almost 200,000. And I started doing maths for them, like, okay, if you had not been eating those pizzas, probably right now you could have a house up to the foundation level.
My goodness.
But akaniuliza swali, yako iko wapi juu hujako ukikula? And
Well,
it dawned on me that we all have these ideas of saving, but when it comes to
the
actual doing
putting
it,
aside money,
yes.
yeah.
Because if I was not eating those pizzas, and
Then you should be able to show your
Exactly.
200k
Yeah.
after 5 years.
but haiko. So, and that's why saving is first of all supposed to be, it's a very, you're supposed to be very disciplined to be able to save.
Yeah.
And the second thing you should know about saving, people save, or rather idea of saving is just putting money away.
Yeah.
Now, what happens, so you just, how do I put it? It's like you're just borrowing money so that you can use it on a later date,
Yeah.
which is also the wrong way to approach it. Because, for instance, let's say you have not been eating those pizzas. Now, you put aside that 4,000 for this month. Now you wake it in your pillow.
Yeah.
But next year, a time like now, you find that one pizza costs 1,200. Na ulikuwa umesave 1,000.
Yeah.
So in the coming year, hata ukitaka kununua hiyo pizza, hautaweza. So,
Because it's already expensive by 200.
exactly. So you'd rather have just eaten it last year. Ndio.
Ikiwa 1K.
Ndio 1,000 yako isipotele.
Ni kweli.
Yeah, so saving has those aspects that you're supposed to look them at. Now, the motivation for this topic today is because of a Japanese technique for saving called kekibo.
Kekibo.
Yes, I think it's a Japanese word. Now, the Japanese have been using it for quite some time, and they have been successful at it.
Wow.
That is, you're able to save, you're able to see the results of it, and you're able to develop from there. And first thing we should know, sio lazima ukuwe na pesa mingi ndio uanze kusave.
Ni kweli.
Ni ile kidogo uko nayo ndio unaanzia. Na second kitu tunafaa kujua ni sio lazima usave pesa mingi. Like you might think saving 1 shilling or 10 shillings is bad. But it's the start. If you're disciplined, that shilling turns out to be the 1 million eventually. Now, the concept that we are going to be discussing about today, it has a template. Ni kama ka kitabu kenye pia unaweza download from our platforms na unaweza itumia ku make your savings journey.
Now that is the platform is Ufalme Wetu.
Yes, maybe if you look from maybe even your Facebook page or Ufalme Wetu YouTube page, you can be able to get it down there.
I will make sure that I visit that platform because hey, we need this information.
So it's ufalmewetu.com.
Okay.
Now, the first thing that you should do is always start with goals, setting goals. Like, bona unataka kusave.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Because people have different reasons, but there are people who don't have reasons. Na ndio sababu there's that cycle of leo nimeanza kusave. When people save in those boxes, they put holes, they call them kafuls. But 2-3 weeks down the line, anakafungua.
Karibu. Kaful is karibu.
Kaful is karibu. Anakafungua, ashatumia hiyo pesa. Because they didn't set goals. Why do you want to save? Because if you don't have a reason to, then you'll not have the discipline to actually go along with it.
Exactly.
And I believe there's an episode we talked about things like self-development. Like you'd want to go back to school. You'd want to maybe develop or rather build your own house or buy a car.
Yeah.
So there has to be a goal.
Yeah, true.
Then second thing you need to do is have what we call monthly reflections. So we are assuming that our savings journey is divided into months.
Oh, yeah, true.
So if you're in the month of September, at the beginning of the month, you have to have your reflections. Like, why are you saving? Like, you must ask yourself questions that are designed to help you understand the goal that you've already set.
Yeah, true.
You have to know your incomes. Like, okay, I am earning 10,000 shillings throughout this month, and I intend to save 10,000 shillings. So, if it's not practical, then
true.
why should you do it?
It is true.
Or if you're intending to save that 10,000 shillings, then you must think of a way of increasing your income.
Yeah, your income, true.
Then again about your expenses. So you're reflecting, okay, I want to save 10,000 shillings, but my expenses are also 10,000 shillings. So what can I forego? What can I maybe, what has to be done? And that is why it's very now important using that platform that you can be able to check out. You categorize your expenses. First, you have what you call needs. Needs are expenses that you have
mandatory,
yes, lazima.
Yeah.
So if you're living in a rented house, you have to pay rent.
The rent, yeah, true.
At the end of the day, you have to eat. You have to have clothes on your back.
Yeah.
So the needs, the expenses for food, for rent, for whatever needs that you are actually sure that these are needs. Not to be confused with wants. Because you also have to categorize your expenses again into wants.
Exactly.
Wants are things that you desire, maybe for luxury, for
kama
leisure.
tu hiyo pizza by the si
Kama
lazima
hiyo
nikule.
exactly.
Si lazima nikule, but
Si lazima
exactly,
ukule,
ni kweli.
but it's a want.
It is a want.
Yeah, the people who have the want to go out every
Friday, yeah.
The people who only have the want to maybe take a drive or even have a want not to use a matatu, they have to use their personal car.
Yeah, true.
So all those needs that you categorize as wants, also put them under wants. Then there are those personal development needs, like the one you've said, you need maybe to
further your
educate
education.
Exactly. You have to put that as a personal development need. You whatever else you can think as, or if you are a Christian or a religious person, and you have that personal needs maybe to help
Exactly.
less needy.
Fortunate. Yeah, true.
So you have also to put that. And the last category of expenses is emergencies.
Emergencies.
Yeah. So emergencies for sickness, emergencies for, there are those things that are emergencies.
The things I can't even know how my September is going to end. Yeah.
And remember in a previous episode, we said that your friend's emergency
is not my emergency.
It's not
Please note that. Please note that. Because, hizi magroups tunajipata every now and then.
Even when you do the math, assume that you earn 20,000 shillings per month. And you work every Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So if you divide the days of the week that you work by the amount of money you earn, it's like you're earning 1,000 per week. So if a friend borrows you 5,000 shillings as the emergency, it means that you work up every day from Monday to Friday. You went
and worked for my friend.
Yes. You took lunch that day. You were harassed by the boss. You did all that you had to do. You went back home tired. And all that you're doing it for your friend.
Wow.
So your friend's emergencies are not emergencies. Unless the kitty that you've set aside for emergencies allows you to
be able to
assist.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think saving has or accounting doesn't have that kind of empathy that you'd expect it to have. Because it's your friend that is in need, that doesn't mean that it's you that is in need. It's your money.
It is true.
Yes. So after categorizing that, then the next step is to track your expenses. And by tracking your expenses, there are people who spend money, but when they try to go back mentally to understand how they
spent that money,
they can't be able to do it.
Well, I have a story, someday I'll share that one.
Good. And there's this joke that people make nowadays that if you break 1,000 shillings note today,
kama imeisha,
you won't know what happened to it at the end of the day.
True.
Yeah. And look at people who buy credit using M-Pesa. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
But they rarely track it. You don't have bundles, you buy 20 shillings. You don't have credit, you buy 50 shillings. You don't have these, you do this. So since you're not tracking them, then maybe at the end of the day you'll be like, okay, I had 2,000 shillings on my phone.
Yeah.
Now I have 800 shillings. What happened to the 1,200? You have no idea. There's no way to track it.
Exactly.
So meaning there's no way to control it. So tracking your expenses means whatever expense that you incur, whether it is transport, whether it is lunch, whether it's a new shoe that you bought, whatever it is, track it, write it down.
It is very important.
It's very important.
Very important.
If you buy airtime 20 shillings, that 20 shillings is a lot of money, write it down. If a friend borrows you 100 shillings,
write it down.
Remember, it's not your emergency, but if you've used that as an expense, please write it down.
Wow, nice.
So after you've tracked your expenses, at the end of the week, you'll be able to have what we call a weekly review.
A weekly review.
Or what people call kujiita ka mkutano. Sasa ni mkutano yako with the expenses.
Na pesa zako.
Yes. And that is where now you start asking yourself questions. Like, was this really necessary? Mbona nilienda kwa hii hoteli nikatumia 1,200 shillings.
Na ningekula the same kind of food. Quality food ya 300.
No, or even I could have bought meat and groceries and cooked at home.
Which now you even cut the cost further by almost.
Yeah. But now you see, because you have that kamkutano with the expenses you have tracked down, you're able now to start thinking about what to do next week. Because hii wiki ishaisha. So what to do next week?
Yeah.
You find, my telephone expenses. I used 3,000 shillings in 1 week. Nipigia nani? You start asking yourself.
And was it even? And
was it necessary?
Most of these conversations are actually purely gossip.
Exactly. Was it necessary? Was there any deal that I made by spending 3,000 shillings on calls?
Okay.
Yeah. Then that's when you start saying, I sent my brother 200, my sister 800, my friend 1,000. Wow, I spent 5,000 on people that,
And maybe for some of them, unfortunately, because we have people we either lend money to and then it will never
never
come
come
back.
back.
You
Yeah.
your money just flies like that.
Yeah, so the tracking of your expenses helps you to have that weekly review. That weekly review is what we call kujita kamkutano na pesa yako.
Na pesa
Then you're able to maybe put senses in your head. And that's when now, as you're saying, you ask yourself questions like, in future now, like now in the next month, before you send that money to a friend, before you buy that airtime, now you're able to ask yourself important questions like, is this something that I can do without? Is this an expense that I can live without?
Yeah.
Do I have to take tea here, which is maybe 100 shillings, yet I can buy 2 packets of milk with the same 100 shillings
And go
and carry tea from home, you know?
for maybe even 3 days,
Exactly.
actually. Anyway, this is interesting,
It's very, it looks simple, but these people lack discipline to do it. But if they did it, it's a very good way of saving, because now the 3,000 that you spent on airtime in week 1, now you'll be conscious about it in week 2 because you tracked your expenses. Now before you buy those bundles, before you make that call, before you sit in that restaurant, you've asked yourself,
is it really worth it?
is it really worth it? Is it really necessary? Then at the end of it, at the end of the month, now you can calculate your savings. That and now this savings has to be tangible, not just as a saying. Because I avoided this pizza 4 times
In a
this
month, then I should have 4,000
exactly.
to show,
to
actually.
show that
It's not that it's some imaginary 4,000 at iko tu mahali.
Exactly.
It is the 4K
That you
mahali.
saved.
Now you can actually now move this
to a lock saving or somewhere
exactly,
else.
true.
So calculating your savings, that is, at the end of the month, those things that you've given up on. So it means that you didn't spend that money on something else. You're supposed to spend it on a pizza, but you didn't. You're supposed to call someone, but you didn't. You're supposed to lend it to a friend, but you didn't.
Exactly.
So at the end of the month, you have that 4,000 to show.
Exactly.
And then, so that now can go towards a goal. Maybe you wanted to start a side hustle that required a laptop. Now you have 4,000 to deposit for the new laptop.
Nice. These are very important conversations. But actually, let me tell you one thing. When I actually put the promo for Hustles Zetu, I remember a young man, somebody I don't even know, all the way from Meru, he told me, Madam, could you kindly help me buy a laptop so that I am able to start my hustle? So these are some of the ways that we need to be able to start putting money aside and go into a computer shop in this era where we have content creation as a source of income for you to be able to make money. Nice,
Yes. So basically, after, so we have gone through, they are very simple steps. Setting goals, monthly reflection, knowing what you want to do with it, categorizing your expenses, knowing what is a want, what is a need, what is for personal development and what is for emergencies. Then tracking your expenses, that is recording each and every expense that you incur.
Wow.
Then at the end of every week, having a meeting with yourself and your expenses. Asking yourself the tough questions. Was this really necessary? What could I have done instead of this?
Exactly.
Or did I really suffer kwa sababu nilijinyima hii? Yeah. And like that friend of mine who was eating pizza said that even after you enjoy the pizza, you'll still have now to pay another cost for the gym. You need to lose that weight.
The weight is that is very, very true.
And then the last step in all these is reflections and improvement. It would be useless to go through that whole process and then not get any feedback from it.
Exactly.
Then use that feedback and
to help better.
Yourself become better with your money. So remember, this doesn't mean that you're earning very large amount of money.
Yeah.
It's that small amount that you're earning, but since at the end of the month you always don't have it. But since you've tracked your expenses now, you've realized that, oh, there are things that I do
that are not necessary.
They're not necessary.
Yeah.
Without them, I can still survive and be happy. And some of the things that maybe make us unable to do these steps. One is peer influence. There are friends that since you meet in a pub every Friday, so and you comfort yourself by telling yourself that I'm going there to make a deal. The deals zinatengenezewa kwa bar.
And you call that is what we hear by the time you leave, your 20 G's is gone, and you may never recover that.
You may never recover it. No.
True.
So those influences, then there are those habitual things. Like, nowadays, with all the games that happen on TV, people place a lot of money on betting. And betting, as much as the intention is to make a killing, it ends up being the other way around. No. And there's a saying that if someone tells you that you'll get something for almost nothing, it's you they are targeting so that you can lose what you have and get nothing in return.
It's a mind game, eh?
It's a mind game. So those friends, you should avoid them. Those habits, try as much as possible to avoid them. And then this is a long-term kind of thing. You might not feel the results after 1 month. 2 months might not give you the laptop that you wanted. But eventually, 1 year, 2 years, even 10 years after you've formed that habit, you'll be able to see, or rather thank yourself for having started.
It is so true.
Yeah.
Wow, and the discipline to save is actually very important.
It's very important.
Because when you look at now, maybe for people who is now, I am a parent, and I'm thinking 10, 15, 20 years, my kids will either be joining university. I need to start catering or thinking about, so what happens, and especially now, assuming they do their higher education in Kenya. I mean, their campus education or their college education in Kenya. So nowadays, tunaona wazazi wanasema there's no money. How do you raise 200 and something thousand a parent and you never even prepared for something like this, you know?
It's true. And I think the reason why that happens is you think 18 years is too long.
Okay.
Like, umepata mtoto leo ama juzi, unaona before afike 18,
utakuwa nimejipanga.
Ni
kweli.
But it's not long. And I work with groups, informal groups, and we tell them to save 300 shillings every month.
Every month.
300 shillings. But at the end of the month, there are people who don't have the 300 shillings. The reason is they were looking for that money in the morning of that day when they were supposed to save.
In the morning of the 31st or the 30th.
Yes, or they were looking for it the previous night. Yet, the concept of saving is this 300 shilling, you're supposed to start looking for it on day one.
On day one.
And since you have 30 days in a month, it means if you saved 10 shillings on day one,
you'll have the 300
10
shillings.
shillings on day two,
Wow.
10 shillings on day three. Every day you saved 10 shillings, you'll not have a problem raising the 300 shillings on day 30.
And this is where we are now for these informal settlements, that kaful, the Karimo thing comes. Because I don't think there's anybody in Kenya working, doing something that cannot really be able to say, I am putting these 10 shillings aside for something.
Exactly. And now that 10 shillings, I'm just using the informal group to show you if how little you need to save.
Imagine.
To make a big impact.
Exactly.
So even in 18 years, you don't start saving or looking for that school fees when the child gets the admission letter. If you do that, you'll fail. But you're supposed to start doing it when maybe you get your wife and you've planned and you've gotten the first child.
Yeah.
And I think that is now our topic for the next episode. How now do we invest to make sure that what we are saving is helping us?
Wow. Wow. In 2 minutes, recap how to save in just 2 minutes.
Okay. So basically, I know we have talked about so much. And I think just like the Bible says, faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God.
Yeah.
Even this kind of learning
comes by hearing.
Yeah, you have to listen to this and listen to it again and again.
Yeah.
But to just recap very quickly, we said you must have an objective. And she has brought up the issue of having to take a child to college 18 years later. That could be an objective that you start today.
Exactly true.
Then categorize all your expenses. Know what must be done. And when we talk about needs, you know, some needs according to other people might be wants. Like you might feel that the need to stay in a 50,000 shillings rental house, it's a need to you. But if you really look at it, maybe over time, you might find, I've been paying rent of 50,000 shillings every month. So in 1 year, I've already paid 600,000.
That's a lot. That's a kaploti mahali. Na
Yes,
kama nataka kamoja, I know where I can take you one to buy one.
Yeah. That money in a plot, and now I can be able to start building. You know, so also your needs over time. Some might become wants, and you remove them from the category of needs that you can't do without.
Yeah, true.
Then make a habit of recording or tracking your expenses. And that's why you said you have a downloadable template that you can use to record all the expenses every day. Then have that weekly meeting with yourself. Ask yourself those hard questions. Why did I use this money to do this? Was it really necessary? Could I have lived without it? Then take actions, as in if you have saved 4,000, let that 4,000 be visible, and put it towards that goal.
Exactly.
If you're saving for your children's education, put it in a fixed deposit account, or in a life insurance premium account, somewhere that now after you've put it, and
you can't access it easily. Exactly.
And that will help you. Then another thing, we say save small amounts. I've given you examples of 10 shillings.
10 shillings. Very affordable.
Even if you're able to access those coins, you go into the supermarket, you get one coin, save it. Save the 100, save the 1,000, whatever you get, but
save it
with a small amount.
Exactly.
Also save what you call windfalls. There is that money that we get unexpected. Commissions, or if you're working and you get a bonus, unasema ati ni ya kujirudishia shukrani.
Hapo ndio watu wanayateremka Mombasa.
Save that amount of money. If you've been gambling and one day you get a big amount, save it. Don't take it back to the gambling, because now you lose all of it without getting anything.
Ni kweli.
And then you're in the right place, because the next point I'm going to say is education and training. Always watch this kind of content. Get books that can help you in financial knowledge. And then after you've done all that, it's time now to increase what you're saving by investing, starting side hustles. And that is what we'll come into in the next episode.
On episode 4. So again, we have said that these money conversations, personal, business, and chama conversations have been brought to you by Ufalme Wetu. Ufalme Wetu is a money solutions company.
It's a platform for practical entrepreneurship assimilation knowledge.
Wow.
We call ourselves the Peak Solutions, practical entrepreneurship assimilation knowledge. You can find us on www.ufalmewetu.com. And we're saying we don't have to depend on others. This is our kingdom. On Ufalme Wetu,
tujitengeneze. Wow, as you have heard that our money conversations are sponsored by Ufalme Wetu, as our lead financial expert has explained. And it's also sponsored by the Habu Decor. The Habu Decor is a company that offers soft furnishings solutions for homes, for offices, and even for hotels, ranging from curtains, sofa sets, wall-to-wall carpets, and many more interior needs that you may have as a person or an organization. So thank you for watching episode 3 on saving, how to save. We shall be back with our conversation on how to invest after you have saved this money in episode 4. Our last episode in this month is going to be on how to start investing. So thank you once again for watching. My name is Eunice Njeri.
Sisi wananchi ndio wenye ufalme, tutafute ujuzi, tuzalishe mali, tukuze kila chama kuwa benki, tuzidishe mapato kwa jamii zetu. Ufalme wetu, ufalme wetu, ufalme wetu. Your catalyst for development.